Alright, how to memorize the unit circle. First off, you want to start off by drawing your x and y coordinate axes, and then you want to label the 4 points. And we want to have a radius of 1. So this point here is going to be 1, 0. This point here is going to be 0, 1. This point here is going to be -1, 0. And this point here is going to be 0, -1. Next, you can draw the circle. I'm going to make a pink circle. Alright, so now you're going to pretend that's a perfect circle, and we're going to focus on the first quadrant. So we're going to divide the quadrant into 3 parts. And this first part is going to be the angle, pi over 6. This second angle is going to be pi over 4. And the third angle is pi over 3. We know that the whole circumference of the circle is 2 pi. And then half of the circle then is pi. And half of the circle is pi over 2. And then 3 halves is 3 pi. 3/4 is 3 pi over 2. Next, you want to draw the coordinate points of these angles. Remember that we use cosine for the x values and sine are the y values. So to remember this, you can first start off by recalling that every single point is over 2. And then you can count up from the bottom. Count down from the top. 1, 2, 3. And then count up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. And take the square root of each of those. The square root of 1 is 1, so we don't need to take the square root of that. Okay, so now it's easy to fill in the rest of the circle. This pi over 4 here will connect. The lines will always connect. So finish dividing up the circle. And in order to know what the angles in the second quadrant are, you should know that in the middle division will always be over 4. The one closer to the y-axis will always be over 3. And the one closer to the x-axis will always be over 6. And so we can finish making the denominators in that manner. So this line here is closer to the x-axis, so it's over 6. This line here is closer to the y-axis, so that's over 3. And then again, this one is over 3 because it's closer to the y-axis. And then the middles are always over 4. And then closer to the x-axis, we get over 6. So now if we come back here to the second quadrant, all we have to do is subtract 1 from the denominator in order to get the numerator. So we get 2 pi. 4 minus 1 is 3 pi. 6 minus 1 is 5 pi. In the third quadrant down here, we add 1 to the denominator. So 6 plus 1 is 7 pi. 4 plus 1 is 5 pi. And 3 plus 1 is 4 pi. And then for the last quadrant, all you want to do is just count up the prime numbers. So we start with the 3 pi over 2 on the y-axis, and then we go to the next prime number is 5 pi, then the next prime number is 7 pi, and the next prime number is 11 pi. And there you have it. Now, all we need to do is fill in the rest of the coordinate points, and to do that, all you need to do is change the sign of the x or the y value depending on what quadrant you're in. So for example, in the second quadrant, to get to this side, we just need to make all the x values negative, right? Because now we're on the negative side of the x-axis. So then we just take the points from here and put them into here. So the ones that are over 3, the angles over 3 go with those coordinate points. So we just keep the same coordinate point, but we make the x coordinate negative. And for over 4, we had 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. And then for over 6, we get negative square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. And then down here, we want negative x values because we're still on the left side of the x-axis, but we also want negative y values because now we're on the negative part of the y-axis. And then we just take the points from up here. So pi over 4 goes with square root of 2 over 2. Square root of 2 over 2. And then pi over 3, we had negative 1/2. Square root of 3 over 2. And then for over 6, we had square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. And then we connect lastly. On this side, we have positive x values, right? Because now we're on the right side of the x-axis, but we still have negative y values because we're below on the negative part of the y-axis. So again, we come across and we take the over 6 value, and that gives us square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. And then for the over 4, for the over 4, we get square root of 2 over 2, and that's always, that one's unique. And then the over 6, right, we already did. And then the over 3, we get 1/2 and square root of 3 over 2. So really, all you need to know is the first quadrant values here and the angles that go with them, the pi over 6, the pi over 4, and the pi over 3. And then you can build the rest of it using the methods I've shown here. Thank you.